Hey Motion fans, welcome back to another episode of Motion Monday. This week we're going to be talking about 3 setups for you to go out and find those spring pre-spawn bass. We'll talk about rod, reel, bait, and line so you can be prepared to target those big, healthy pre-spawn fish. Now before we get started, if you would please like this video, drop a comment on which bait you prefer to fish, and please share this out to your friends, your story, your page. It really helps us in growing this channel. All right, so let's get started. One of the first ones that we're gonna pick is a square bill or like a DT6. Any shallow diving crankbait to fish around cover is gonna excel this time of year. Whether you're hitting rock transitions, so where big basketball size rock mixes with softball, mixes with pea gravel, any of those rock type changes or points are gonna be really good places to target. For this setup, we're throwing it on a 7.2 medium power, moderate action rod. The reason you're going to want that moderate action, it's going to give you a lot more ability to fight that fish and increase your landing percentage. So the rod has some backbone to it, but it's got a lot of tip to keep those fish pegged. We're going to throw this on either a 5-to-1 or a 6-to-1 gear ratio so we can really slow that bait down. And most of the time, since we're going to be fishing shallow and around some heavy cover, we're going to fish that on 15-pound fluorocarbon. For the next setup would be a spinnerbait. So we're going to throw that on a 7-foot medium heavy fast action or a moderate fast action rod. Again, we're going to be throwing that on 15-pound Seaguar InvizX fluorocarbon. We're either going to be throwing a 1/2 ounce or a 3/4 ounce spinnerbait. This is going to be a bait that we're going to use during high wind days, or if you've got some chop on the water, a spinnerbait is great, or some dingy, dirty water, that's going to be a go-to option. We like to throw the 3/4 ounce when we want to keep that bait on the bottom. If we're using those bigger blades, it's going to want to have some lift to the bait, so increasing your weight to that 3/4 ounce will help keep that bait down and ticking those rocks. That's going to be something we're throwing around backs of docks. Again, those laydowns, channel swings, those rock transitions, still all really good places for that bait. Again, we're going to throw that on a 6-to-1 gear ratio reel. So again, we have the ability to speed it up or slow it down. That's a really good option there. For our third option, of course, you're not going to see us fishing without a jig. A jig just excels this time of the year. The crayfish are becoming active. They're getting out of their burrows. You really just can't beat it. It's good for these high sun days, those slick, calm days. Even in the high wind, the jig is really, really well. Plus, it allows you to target those isolated pieces of cover, saturate your bait in those areas. For the rod, reel, line setup that we're using, we're going to throw this on a 7-1 medium heavy fast action rod, 15-pound fluorocarbon. We're going to be throwing it on a 7-to-1 or higher gear ratio. Again, that higher gear ratio is going to allow us to pick up slack quickly and get those hook sets that drive that hook deep into the fish. It's going to help you out tremendously, so be sure you're throwing it on that high gear ratio. For jigs, we're either going to be throwing a finesse jig, but most of the time right now I'm throwing one of our brush jigs. Anything that's got brown in it, PBJ is great, or I'll be throwing black and blue for that dirty, muddy water. Of course, you can't go wrong with blue crawl for that very natural feel as well. Guys, hope this was helpful. These are 3 really good setups that you can be throwing through the next few weeks. Again, comment below what your favorite setup is below, and we'll see you next week for Motion Monday.